Hi, welcome to the bathtub, where when you hear this immortal theme song,
Well, Bebop-A-Lula, she's my...
and we stop it really quick because we're afraid of being sued, and we have yet to be sued by the estate of Gene Vincent. We're not actually trying to. We're not goading them. We're not trying to do anything. We try to have theme songs when we can, and we don't want to get sued. We don't make anything on this. We don't make any money on this stupid show. And it doesn't deserve to make any money. I'll say that. Anyway, we're doing a couple of quick ones here. I'm gonna, as I said on our 5,000th subscriber episode, we've had this like hanging 5,000 subscriber thing going for just months. I mean, every time we get 2 people join, 3 people quit, I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just saying that there's. I'm trying to see if check where we are at right this minute, but we're always at like 4,000. Hold on a second. Where are we? I want to give you the exact number here. We're at 4,995. Good Lord. 4,995. And then tomorrow will be 4,994. Anyway, we're considering it's 5,000 subscribers. We've already had the 5,000 subscriber gala bash, where everyone showed up for the Bathtacular, and we talked to all the crazy people who watch the show. And we had a good time. We have unpixelated water, though it's tinctured. It's because it has a little bit of diet fruit punch in it. You know? No sugar, no pixels, but some sort of chemicals in there. We're doing a couple of episodes now because, as I said at the 5,000th episode, we're going to take the bathtub on the road. I'm not going to tell you where. I'm not going to tell you how, but through the magic of whatever YouTube is, we're going to try to film a couple of episodes on our trip. We're going on a holiday for a bit. And we're going to we'll try to post them. We may not post them till we get back. So I'm doing a couple of quick ones now just to kind of, clear off all the shelves and stuff. My place is a huge mess. So we're doing a couple of quick ones. I don't think we've done a New-Bop-A-Lula in ages. I looked on our thing here. It was May, June, July, August. And we don't have not many people send us books, but if you send them to us, we talk about them. That's all you got to do. You send the book, we talk about them. And I thought I talked about some of these books. I was digging them all out under the shelves and trying to find them. I may have brought them up before. If I mention them twice, that's even more nice. So that's what we're doing here. Okay, here's one. I could have sworn we talked about it, but I'm a big George R. Stewart fan. He wrote 2 books. One is called Fire, which I wish I have it somewhere here. And New York Review of Book Classics have recently, with a new introduction by Nathaniel Rich, republished Storm by George R. Stewart. George R. Stewart's many of us love him for Earth Abides, the great post-apocalyptic novel from the 50s, which makes you want to live through the post-apocalypse. It really is. It's just like a better world than we got these days with everything going on. Anyway, Storm tells of the point of view of the storm, and then he's got one called Fire, the point of view of the fire. And I read these in high school after I read all his books after I read Earth Abides, and it's a wonderful novel. Anyway, this is a terrific book. I have the cool old paperback classic somewhere, but where the hell, I don't know. Anyway, that's a really nice book. This is a book I thought I talked about too. This is a writer who lives near us at the bathtub. And they sent me this book in May, and it's by a woman named Diane Vonglis Parnell by SWP She Writes Press. And she sent it to me. I told her, basically, you send me a new book, I'll talk about it. This is her memoir, and it says, The Taste of Anger, which is a good title, explores in raw, unflinching detail how years of isolation, oppression, and the threat of retaliation create an environment in which family secrets are guarded at all costs. It's about Diane is 3 years old when her violent father moves her pregnant mother, and her 6 siblings to a remote farm in upstate New York. There, Diane grabs the reader by the hand and takes them to the broken-down barns, barren fields, and rows of bunk beds in her rat-infested attic bedroom as she questions all that feels wrong about her new world. So it's about growing up in difficult circumstances. It sounds like particularly difficult circumstances, and about violence in the family. And it's a memoir, and it looks quite good. And I haven't read anything about it except what I read here just to you now. But the first chapter title is called Blame the Milkman. That's a pretty good opening chapter title, Blame the Milkman. So we've got that here on the shelves, and we frankly, it got buried under stuff. I forgot I had it here. So Diane, I'm sorry if we took so long to get it. And if I mentioned it twice, that's twice as nice. Unpixelated Water. We've got 2 copies of this. We know we're big fans here of Tachyon Press, and if we weren't big fans of theirs, we'd still mention their books because they send us their books. They're so interested in this book here, they sent me 2 copies, possibly by accident. New Adventures in Space Opera, edited by Jonathan Strahan, who I think I know that name. I think he probably anthologizes or edits a lot of science fiction anthologies. And it's got a lot of the big shots, all the big shots. Alastair Reynolds, Yoon Ha Lee, Lavi Tidhar, very highly regarded writers, none of whom I've read. But it's a nice, good, handsome book of brand new stories of space opera. So that's kind of a cool book to think about for Christmas for your space opera fans. And again, just to support good work at Tachyon. We like to support good work. You notice we got the Raphael glow going again. We got the light. We got the lights going. Natural light of windows. We're not doing much fancy stuff today. I don't know what the hell this is either. They sent me this, but it's really a cool looking little book. It looks like a small publisher. It's called Tales of the Unreal, July 2024, issue number 3. I don't know anybody in this anthology. It looks like a new anthology from Unreal Press. Okay, Unreal Press, and it looks like they're trying to do a new kind of weirdo science fiction fantasy or slipstream or whatever they call it these days. Odd, strange, surreal stories plus genre stories. And I don't know any of the writers in it. Robert Cross, Phil Rott, Arbogast. That's probably me. I don't know who any of these people are. But it's a cool little book. You know, I don't even know if it's any good, but they put some thought and some interesting quality in this little paperback. They did the old mass market paperback, which no one ever does anymore. So I think what they did looks cool. I think you should support them. Here's more from Tachyon, man. You guys are doing good, Tachyon. We're just going to keep talking about your books, okay? Joe R. Lansdale. Okay, we like Joe R. Lansdale. We like his detectives. He wrote those detective stories, the names of whom I can't remember. And they'll probably tell me here. The Hap. Anyway, we prepare for these. We spend weeks preparing for these talks. This has got Kim Newman, our buddy Kim Newman's got a quote on the back. Laird Barron. They're horror stories that are inspired by, it says right there, I just have to read the cover, inspired by H.P. Lovecraft, In the Mad Mountains. Everything I've read by Lansdale has been pretty clever. Pretty funny writer, really, really strong. He does horror stories and these detective stories, and they're kind of a little raunchy from what I can tell. But this looks pretty cool. So if you like H.P. Lovecraft, or you like Joe Lansdale, or you just like Tachyon Press, this has become a whole thing for Tachyon Press today, you know? What's going on? Oh, here's something I like. I'm a big Ralph Nader fan. A lot of my friends don't like Ralph Nader. I'm a big Ralph. Ralph is the only honest man in America, I think. And he does this thing called the Capitol Hill Citizen. It costs, I think I paid $5 for it. I forget. You can find out by going to Ralph Nader's website from the Ralph Nader radio show. And they do a lot of great stuff here. This is there's a big article on APAC. This is from a couple months ago, May, June. It costs $5. And it's really got a lot of great stuff in it. I mean, there's just so many good stuff in it. And after I read it, I try to pass it on and put it in one of the library boxes nearby. But if you like Citizen Ralph, you should get that. You should listen to his radio show, too. I'm a big fan of his radio show. Tor Essentials. So these are books showing how long it's been since I kept up with science fiction, because as we talk about it, I always do like books from the 60s and 70s, which I reread. and I've not been very good at keeping up with it. This is a guy named Stephen Brust. Never heard of him, but this has become a classic. I guess this is 1984, and it's being reprinted in 2024 with an introduction by the great Roger Zelazny. I used to love Roger Zelazny as a kid. And it says, originally published in 1984, Stephen Brust's To Reign in Hell is a retelling of Satan's revolt against heaven with much more sympathy for Lucifer and his allies. So it's, I guess, a retelling of the Satan's rebellion, but also of Paradise Lost, one of the great books. We're going to do Paradise Lost, by the way, in the bathtub very soon. So anyway, that's Stephen Brust, and I'm kind of tempted to keep this and read this. I don't know, it's just something about it. Looks like there's a smart guy here, and it's getting a lot. It has lots of. It's lasted 40, 50 years because people like it, and I might want to try to hold on to that one. So let's see if I can read that one these days. Here's another one, Tachyon Press. They should be. You should be slipping me some money under the door. I mean, look at, we're all Tachyon today. This is Ellen Datlow, an old friend of mine. Ellen Datlow edits a lot of horror anthologies. She bought stories of mine millions of years ago, when I was a million years younger than I am today. She does lots of horror anthologies. She and Stephen Jones probably do all the horror anthologies that are worth reading in the world. And this is called Fears, Tales of Psychological Horror. And let me just double check I know what I'm talking about. Return to 21 Stories of Extreme. I think these are all new stories. Okay, I'm not absolutely sure. Let me just double check. See if I can find anything in here. 2022, 2020, 2009. No, they're not. These are reprints. These look like they're coming back there's some going back to 2005, but that doesn't matter because it looks like they're good stories. They got lots of good writers in here. Now, I know a lot of these people. I love Joyce Carol Oates. We've talked about her. Her horror stories are really good. Stephen Graham Jones, really, really well-regarded horror writer I've never read. And I guess that's everything I know that's in here. Larry Barron has good reputation. But the only one I really read, and I always enjoy her horror novels, or horror stories anyway, are Joyce Carol Oates. Her novels, we have a theory about Joyce Carol Oates. We talked about the longer it gets, the more boring it gets. But her short stories, I've never read a bad short story. So they got one of hers in here. That's probably good. All right, so Fears. Hey, we got a book that's not from Tachyon Press. I'm very proud of that. We don't want to look like we're shills for these people. This is a cool series of books from BFI Press. BFI Film Classics. And they've been doing it for decades. And again, our buddy Kim Newman and Paul McCauley. Paul McCauley did a great one on Brazil. Terry Gilliam's Brazil. Kim Newman did a great one on Cat People. And they're all about 80, 70, 100 pages. And they're kind of histories and analysis of these great classics. This is a new one by Mark Kermode, who's a big TV critic for the movies in London. Every time I see him, I think Kim Newman should be doing it, though. I think Kim's a friend, but he's a much better movie reviewer, I think, than anybody. And it's The Shawshank Redemption. Okay, that's one of those movies that's a super classic. Everyone loves it, except me. I thought it was okay. The other movie, which is always considered one of the great movies, is Full Metal Jacket. I thought it was okay. It's based on a wonderful novel by my friend Gus, but it was okay. Those two movies are constantly being talked about, like the greatest movies of American history. And this is The Shawshank Redemption. And if you know someone who loves the book or you love the movie, these are really cool little single volume books about individual movies. I really recommend that series. And if you like that movie, that book. Finally, we're coming to the end. I'm going to do longer pieces on these later because I'm reviewing these. One is called Dorothy Parker in Hollywood. It comes out on October 15th. I just finished reading it. I'm going to do a little review of this pretty soon. And it's by Gail Crowther. And Dorothy Parker's a trip. Her years in Hollywood are a trip. It's not a long book. It's kind of cool. There's a good Marianne Mead biography of Parker, if you like her. And I do like her. I think she's quite a good writer. And her verse is fun. And this is kind of based on it's short biography, got 250 pages, and focuses on the film years. And she had a much better career than I really realized until I read this book. And finally, another one we're going to do a much longer piece about soon. Our Evenings, Alan Hollinghurst. I think I've talked about this. This is one of my favorite novels of the past 30 or 40 years. The Line of Beauty. It's a wonderful, wonderful novel about England during the Thatcher years, told from the viewpoint of a young gay man who's moves in with this horrible crowd of Tories. And it's a one I won't talk about much of it. And this is a much more reflective novel. I enjoyed it. I didn't like it half as much as I liked that one, but it's a good novel. Our Evenings, that comes out next month, and that's it. I talked too much. Okay, I'll do one more of these quickly, and then hopefully you'll see our special. We're gonna be phoning it in, and I may not be able to post our on the road bathtubs until we get back, but we'll try to post them on the road. Okay, stay safe. Happy bathing. We need 5 subscribers to this useless show, and we don't want 6 people to quit. This is what happens: 5 people join, 6 people leave. We're just treading water. Stay safe.